Alrighty, guys, we are back with another video. If you don't know me, first video here, it's Tyler Matthews. I run a local sports training business. I train basketball players. I've had my main facility for the last 8 years, and we've trained hundreds of athletes. We've made a lot of money. We've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm here to share some of the lessons learned, the wins, the losses, everything like that, and help you with growing your sports training business. So today's topic is how to turn your yearly revenue into your monthly revenue, specifically in your sports training business. So if you're somebody that trains basketball, soccer, baseball, boxing, any other sport that you can think of, then this video may help you. So stay tuned. So a lot of trainers, and I made this mistake initially, is when you're running your program, you'll just be doing things session by session. So $20 here, $50 here, $100 here. And there's nothing wrong with that when you're first getting started, but there are some problems that come along with that. Number one is you're just always collecting payments, and it just creates an administration nightmare with trying to track who's paying you, when they're paying you, are they paying you before the session, after the session, how many sessions do you owe them, XYZ. It's just not a fun way to run your business. So the next layer up from that is doing monthly payments, like a monthly subscription, which is better for sure. But with that comes some issues also. Like, for example, you may be collecting anywhere from $100 to $1,000 a month. And let's say on average, $400 a month is what people are charging. So $400 a month, again, definitely better than collecting $20 here, $50 here. You're getting a consistent $400. But the issue with that is every single month, the client, and in this type of business, when you're running a sports training business, the client is the player, but the customer is the parent. So the customer in this case has the decision every month of, do I want to keep paying or do I not? Right. And they start to question the value, whether things are going amazing or not. They could have other things happening in their life. They could be questioning, okay, do we want to make this payment? Do we not? If there's any sort of friction within your program, like the kid doesn't feel good that week, they could say, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, XYZ, and then they could not pay you the next month. So you may get 1, 2, 3 payments from them. And let's say you get $800 or $1,200, and then they cancel. Again, yes, you helped the kid for a couple of months. I would argue that you didn't really help them that much because they were only with you for a few months. But yes, they may have gotten some coaching and training and some knowledge and gotten better at the sport from that 1, 2, or 3 months. But ultimately, this needs to be a long-term thing, minimum a year, right? Ideally, a few years where they're training with you and really diving into your philosophy and understanding what it is that you're teaching them and getting reps on it and making it into part of their identity as an athlete. And so the better way to do things, the best way, is to get prepays, right? Which is what we got down here, for 1 year at a time, right? And you could obviously scale this up or down. You could go, we've done stuff as high as 2 years. You could go, I know schools and academies that do 5 years. So they'll have like a black belt program, for example, where they are getting you fully committed to the next 5 years. You're going to become a black belt, right? Personally, I like 1 year, but again, you could go as high as 5 years, 2 years. You could go as low as 3 months, 6 months, right? But 1 year is what I've found to be the sweet spot. And so if we take that same example of $400 a month and then we just multiply it by 12, now that's 4,800, right? And so which would you rather collect? Would you rather collect 400 or 4,800? And the answer for most people is they'd rather get the 5,000 rather than the 400, right? And so I just want to be transparent with this. There are other problems that get created by collecting the money up front, right? Like, for example, if you are not managing your money correctly and you start getting payments for $5,000 and you end up having $50,000 in your bank, and then you blow it and you still owe these parents and players training for, let's say, the next 6 months, then, that's just poor money management. So every solution leads to the next problem, which you have to solve. But what I will say is, from my experience, I've done this both ways and I've gone back and forth on it multiple times. It's a lot better solving the money management problem than it is solving the problem of having no money at all. And so if you are doing things, let's say again, on that monthly basis, and you're collecting $400 at a time, and you sign up 10 athletes and each of them pay their 400 that month. Now you collected $4,000. You have expenses behind that. You don't really have enough to pay yourself to like make this a sustainable business. So there is another problem that you need to be solving alongside this, which is you need to be signing up more athletes each month, especially in the beginning. You got to be cranking out a lot of athletes. You got to be bringing in, 5, 10, 20, 30 athletes per month into your business. And that's not what this video is about. We'll talk about how to do that and why to do that in other videos. This video is specifically about this word right here, which is prepays. We want to get people prepaying, which solves two big problems that most sports trainers face. The first problem that it solves is cash flow. If you're just getting your business started, or if you're wanting to do this full time and you're collecting a couple dollars here, a couple dollars there, a couple $100, it's going to be really hard to have the necessary cash flow to fuel the business's growth. So by getting prepays, by getting $5,000 or $3,000 or $7,000 per person at a time, you solve that cash flow issue, right? And then you have money in the bank and you can start to do things that can help fuel the growth and make your business a lot better, right? So that is the first problem that prepays solves. So I highly encourage prepays for the cash flow issue. The second issue that is built into prepays automatically is it solves the churn issue. So if you don't know what the word churn is, churn means the number or the percentage of people that leave your business each month. So for example, if I had 10 clients that are in my business and 2 of them leave at the end of this month, that means I have a 20% churn rate, right? 20% would be, I guess, probably somewhere average in this youth sports training industry. You wouldn't believe it if you actually started diving into people's numbers. Churn is way higher than most sports trainers want to admit. A lot of sports trainers that I talk to are like, "Oh yeah, no athletes leave me. Like once they get started, I'm the best trainer. I get them results. They never leave my program." But then if we actually start looking at the data, they have a lot of athletes that leave. And again, it's not like an ego thing. It's not their fault. Part of it is just the nature of the business. When you're working with kids, it's the flavor of the week. One week they want to train and they want to be fully committed to soccer, and they're going to be in the pro soccer world, and they're going to be a soccer player for the rest of their life. And then the next week or the next month, they decide, all right, no, I want to play basketball, right? And so part of that is commitment, right? Which by getting prepays, you are getting a commitment, and you're getting this athlete and this family to commit to playing the sport and training for the sport, which ultimately is good for, like, really good for them. If they want to get better at the sport, if they say that they are gonna, play this sport for years and make the high school team, college, pro, and then they do it for a month and they realize, oh wait, this is harder than I thought, and then they quit. They're not learning skills and character traits that'll carry into life. But by them committing to stuff, now they're all in, right? And the second that there's a little bit of friction or they don't have a great workout, they still have to show up for that next one and learn to work through the adversity. So you're able to teach life skills by getting prepays also. I guess that's a bonus of this. But on the churn side of things, right, you're solving the churn issue where they've already paid and they're going to show up if they pay, right? And if they don't, then obviously that's not it's not your responsibility to drive them to the facility. But if they don't, then it allows you to have a conversation with them about, hey, I noticed Johnny hasn't been showing up the last 2 weeks. Can we get on a phone call? And then they may tell you, hey, at the last session, Johnny didn't understand the footwork, or there was another player in the session that XYZ, right? There's a million reasons why players stop showing up. But then by you being there for them, having a conversation with them, you're able to get them back on track and remind them of the commitment that they made to 12 months, 6 months, however long your program is. But yep, prepays solves the churn issue. big issue that a lot of sports trainers have, and you're going to want to solve it. Let's scroll down and see what else we got. The last piece of this is just ask, right? That is the worst they can say is no. And this is the way to unlock a lot of revenue in your business. So I've had conversations with hundreds of sports trainers around the country over the last 8 years, and I have shared this with them. Hey, like, why don't you do a 1 year program and give them the opportunity to prepay? And, oh, no, I don't want to do that, XYZ. They have a bunch of limiting beliefs about why not. Totally understand that. I did at one point. You have to work through those, but the sooner that you can work through those and just try it, right? Just ask. The worst that they're going to say is no, and then you're gonna be in the same spot where they're just gonna pay you monthly. But best case scenario is typically anywhere from 20 to 50% of people or more, depending on what your offer is and how you're structuring it, right, will say yes. They will gladly prepay, especially if you just ask, right? Just make it like that is the best option, and that's what how the program is ran. Is, hey, so here's how we run the program. It's a 12-month program. The total is 4,800, and then see what they say. Some people are just going to pay it right then and there. They're not going to ask. And then other people, of course, will ask, hey, is there any way I can split this up? And then that's where you can get into other billing options, right? But prepays are the way to go. So hopefully you took that away from this video. Get some prepays, start asking for prepays. Again, I like 1 year. You can do 6 months, you can do 3 months, but it's just going to pull the money forward, and it's going to give you some flexibility to actually run your business in the way that you want to, and not be, thinking so short term, month to month, things like that. So this is how you turn your yearly revenue into your monthly revenue in your sports training business. Again, my name is Tyler Matthews. I'm here to help. I'd love to hear from you guys. Comment, subscribe, like, share this with a friend, and I'll see you guys on the next one.